The way we do the classes is you come in, you learn some sword technique, and then you break off into groups with a partner or two or three, and you do a fight scene, and you have to perform it at the end of the class. Damon was able to come back into the Jedi's, bringing his kung fu experience and his education in human interaction and education.
It was kind of really an experiment for me. You know, I just took a risk and said, like, oh, I want to see what it's like teaching, like, these real, like, everybody, for people who just have an inkling of an inclination into what Jedis are about, you know, what the Jedi are about, or people who are, like, hardcore into it, see how they adapt to an actual martial tradition being taught through the filter of their worldview, you could say. So how I developed a lesson plan specifically for the Jedi is I had to take a look at, first I went on Wikipedia and looked at the 7 lightsaber forms of combat. And I looked at those strategies and said, okay, now how can I take from my knowledge and implement those strategies in a form-based work or in an exercise-based work? And then through the instructors, we split with different ideas because we had different skill sets within the group. And so I took a certain types of forms, mostly Shicho, Sorasu, and Gemso, because those were the 3 that best fit my skill set, and began to write forms and teach upon those strategies to them. So keeping it within their train of thought, but also taking from my martial experience and adapting it to the class there.
That's the one thing that I really love about the lightsaber. It's 100% cutting area, which means, like with a traditional blade, like a samurai sword, it's got a single edge with a dull edge for blocking and whatever, you know, the 2 flat sides and the block and then the cut. Lightsaber, you can move it any way you want. So we have people coming into the group that are, like I said, Jason's a dancer, Damon is with monkey kung fu, one of our guys is a ballet dancer, Alfie, oh God. The way that these people move with this sword, since it can cut in any direction, they're coming out with things just out of left field that you couldn't do in traditional martial arts.
The classes are there to teach you physically how to fight, and the masters are there to guide you and to help you and for emotional support. You know, that kind of thing, things that you can't get from a classroom setting, things that you need an older brother or an older sister or an uncle, that kind of closeness.
And that's one of the things about New York Jedi, which is really interesting, is that a lot of times the Padawans choose the masters.
In Star Wars, the master chooses the Padawan. It has always been this way. In New York Jedi, the Padawan chooses the master. It has always been this way.
Padawan-teacher relationships have seemed to sprung up between certain people, which is, you know, it's to be expected. Certain teachers resonate with certain students.
To make it proper, the master should choose the Padawan, so you hint and you ask around.
She was walking through the class and she was saying, well, you know, I'm a student now. I guess I'm a Padawan. I guess I need a master now, right?
I found a connection with Flynn that is a rare one.
And as soon as I heard her say that, I was like, come here. You're a student I want to have.
And I knew that I really wanted him to be my master. I knew that for him I would work harder as opposed to for myself.
When Damon showed up, Jason was like, he's my teacher. That's my master. So, you know, he's also a student at Damon's Kung Fu school, as is Jester.
When I first met Damon, and we were training, and he was like, you know, you should come by. He's like, I have Kung Fu school. You should come by my Kung Fu school. And I was like, oh, okay, sure, you know, yeah. And then, you know, and Damon's the type of person who's like, he's going to extend an invitation and then he's going to let it evolve naturally. And, you know, he's not going to press you out about it. Like, that's it. First time I came, I rehearsed with him for an hour on the break. And then I left. He was like, you want to stay for Kung Fu? And I was like, no, I'm going to head out, you know. And then the second time I came, he was like, you want to stay for Kung Fu? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to stay. I'll stay. Why not? You know, it's like, just stay, you know. So I did. I stayed after that. Came every week. Boom. Twice a week. You know, and haven't stopped since then.
Once I arrived at New York, I founded Temple of the Monkey, and that was in 2002. And I started with a very small group of students, only 4, and I taught them for 2 years.
He's one of the most humble people I know. And you can tell because he's no bullshit. You know, you get on a conversation with this guy one-to-one, and you can tell right away whether or not he likes you. You know? And he's extremely elegant, very eloquent guy. He will never make anybody feel bad.